to FPRL. Yes, that's the name of the league. Round 9. No, round 10. Oh god, I have to change the title. That is my bad. I put in round 9 instead of round 10 of FPSL. As we have a... they said lap 1 out of 3. So I'm just gonna put in chat, or to let you know that it's round 10, not 9, and there is a mistake on my behalf. So sorry for any confusion. But we have a full grid here tonight, which is always amazing in league racing. I cannot change the name of the stream, so we'll have to do with what we have. I'll put on the spectator menu so that we can see every piece of data we can, as I love me some data. Now, who is the first man out on track? It's Nico Rosberg 27, great name, big up. Surprised that it wasn't taken. Nico Rosberg 27. Of course, last week we raced around Monaco. Flex Marcel, he got the win there. He is in the Haas. We race got 2nd position, and 3rd position got Jack King. And on pole position around Monaco it was F1 Buttons back, who we can see here is out on track currently. I missed last week's race. I'm not sure how it went. I know that both championship leaders, well, Virida and James C, they both retired from the race. So there was no point gaining from them two. I'm going to update you on the standings. Virida is first with 151 points. RP James C is second with 125 points. Jack King is third with 91 points, so big gap from first to third, 60 points. Of course, if James T wins here tonight and gets fastest lap, he will match Virida if Virida doesn't score any points, because the gap is 26 points. So he can't get in front currently of the man in first place. Then in fourth we have We Race. His championship standings, his position in the championship was helped by the second place he got in Monaco last week. Vapor Trench in 5th. He of course got assigned second place around Japan, which was my first race commentating FPSL. He Racing Point of course got 1-2 with Virida first, so that was a great race from the Racing Point team. And then 6th we have Shite. 7th we have F1 Buttons back. 8th we have Marcel. I thought he was going to be higher up the standings. 9th we have Brown, and rounding off the top 10 we have Trixie with 37 points. Now Nico Rosberg, he will be crossing the line. He will be the first man to set a competitive lap time. What will it be? It's going to be a 1:28.5, which puts him on provisional pole position. But right behind him it was Ghost Rider, 1:28.7, 2/10 behind the Mercedes driver. Brown 1:35. We have a disappointing lap time for him, but that's Sam UK, 1:27.7. Shite 1:27.6. Great lap time from the McLaren driver, who is right now on provisional pole position. Buttons back 1:27.5. He of course got pole around Monaco. I know I'm repeating myself, but could be 2 poles in 2 races. Now is anyone close to finishing their lap times? Virida, he is going through the old pit straight. Of course, it is used sometimes. I think it's used in MotoGP or motorcycle races, but I'm not too sure about that one. But through Maggis and Beckett's he goes on the main straight. Oh, he messes up, and that is him onto the gravel, and that is his lap time into the bin. But as I was commentating on his lap time, Weiris went 5th fastest on the medium compound of tyres, and Vapor Trench went 3rd fastest on the softs. Well, let's see, Trixie, he is on a lap now going into Village. Now going on to the Wellington straight. Sorry, I had to just do something real quick, that's why I was muted. Into Brooklands and Luffield now. As we see now the old pit straight, as I said before. Of course, the track has been changed quite a lot in the past 20 years. Now this is a very fast sequence of corners. Of course, Maggis and Beckett, he wasn't flat out before, whereas here I'm not sure why he isn't going flat out. Usually people take that flat out. The sector 2 split is a 1 minute 3 seconds and 7 tenths. Now let's see as he goes into Stowe and now into the club section. What lap time will he produce? The Williams driver now coming up to the line, hitting the sausage curb on the inside. It's a 1:27.8, 3 tenths behind F1 Button's back, so really close up at the front. Only 3 tenths separating the top 6, so amazing competition here. If you have any questions or anything to say, just put it into the live chat and I'll probably read it out. Now RPJMC is on the medium come out tyres, going through Maggis and Beckett's. He will be hoping for a great result here tonight to catch up to Virida. Of course, with 3 rounds to go, including this one, he will be doing anything to get points off Virida. Going a little bit wide through Stowe now into the club section. Let's see how he does. Going up to the line, what will it be? It's a 1:27.6 on the medium compound of tyres. So great job from the Mercedes driver. He's showing why he is in the 2nd position in the championship. And now we're probably only waiting for Virida to set a lap time, as most people are now on their out laps to start their 2nd laps, to start their 2nd flying lap. Virida still in the pits. Jack King now. I'm seeing a trend here, I always catch people while they're through this section, and he goes purple in sector 2 into Cops now. Stowe, my bad. Kind of similar corners, both right-handers. Into Club now, cutting the corner slightly. It wasn't really a cut, but just using as much of the track as possible. But it's a 1:27.2, which puts him on provisional pole position. So great job from the man in 3rd position in the standings. Now Brown is starting his flying lap. Yadet is also... No, he is not starting a flying lap, but I think he will be starting a flying lap because this one is invalidated. I'm not sure if that is his out lap being invalidated or just a lap being invalidated. But let's see how he does. Now going into turn 1, also known as Abbey, into Village, as he gets Lot of overs here at the exit of turn 1. Won't be, I don't think it's going to be an amazing lap time, but let's see how he does at the end of the lap time. Who knows, he could get a blistering sector 2 and 3. But now on the Wellington straight into Luffield. Now taking a tight entry into that corner. Onto the old main straight, as we see now on the minimap, a cluster of cars going through Magus and Beckett. They will be starting their flying laps, or are on flying laps. As I'm going to just check up on them, yes, they are on flying laps. We see the Alfa Romeo drivers. I'm surprised that McGee didn't take slipstream off Jack King to improve his lap time potentially. But now he's coming up to the line on the club section, as we see yellow flags in sector 3. I'm not sure for what that was, but coming up to the line, it's a 1:28.3, 10th position currently, which is a points winning position, but of course it's only qualifying. It's the race that matters the most. But he then goes 15th fastest, so not the best lap time from him. As Blitzkrieg and Lightning Poker, I'm guessing they will go on another lap, because the current lap times they have, I think they might have messed up somewhere, or else, for example, Lightning Poker, he was on a harder compound tyre, so he was on the hards. But now V-Rider, he is on a flying lap going through Maggots and Beckett's, absolutely revving out the engine, and that is his lap time invalidated. So V-Rider will not set a lap time on this flying lap. I'm not sure if he has the fuel to go for another one, or if he will go into the pits. What will he do? He will go into the pits. I'm gonna give you some information on the track. It's a 5.8 kilometer long. I messed up. The lap length is 5.8 kilometers, or else 3.6 miles if you prefer it in miles. The race laps, they're going to be 28 here tonight. Then the maximum speed according to McLaren is 330 kilometers per hour. You go 70% of the lap is on full throttle, as Lightning Poker makes a slight mistake at the exit of Beckett's. And gear changes per lap is also is 40 according to McLaren. And there's 2 DRS zones at the pit straight and at the Hanger straight, or else the Wellington straight, however you prefer. But Sam UK goes second fastest, 1:27.4. He is in the pit, so I must have missed that. RP James has retired from the session, so he will be starting on the medium compound of tyres. V-Rider is waiting to go out on a flying lap. F1 Buttons back goes fastest, 1:26.9, blistering lap time from the Ferrari driver, which puts him on provisional pole position. Vapor Trench 1:27.2, so good lap time from him. It currently puts him on the front row of the grid. I'm going to update you on the constructor standings. Racing Point is first on 215 points. Mercedes with 127. James C carrying the team is back, must hurt a lot, because he has 125 points, so his teammate has only picked up 2 points across the whole season. The Alfa Romeo is third, 116 points, only 11 behind the Mercedes, so that must be a mistake on the graphic. Renault fourth on 77 points. Toro Rosso, Williams and McLaren all on 61 points, so very close battle in the midfield. Ferrari on 58 points, Haas on 54 points, and Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, dead last, 43 points, 172 points behind the leaders. Of course, Sam UK and Blitzkrieg will be hoping to get good results so that they can get higher up in the constructor standings. But now most people will be going out on their last flying laps. Nico Rosberg, he is down on his lap by 6/10, so he's going into the pits. I'm not sure if he will be able to start another flying lap. But Ghost Rider, he goes fast. He doesn't go fastest. He goes faster than his previous lap time, 1:28.3. Now V-Rider is going to be starting his flying lap. He will be able to go on 2 flying laps, but I doubt he will do that, as Colin retires from the session. Let's see how V-Rider does going into turn 1. He keeps in 7th gear, as it is faster to do that than to upshift into 8th gear. I'm not a professional driver. I don't really play this game anymore, apart from commentating, so I don't really know why it is faster, but it just is. Same as on the Hangar Straight, but now into Luffield he goes. Let's see how he does. He is in high ERS mode. He will probably bump it up into hot lap. Yes, he does. He of course does that so that he can have ERS through the whole lap, because if you use it too much across one lap, it won't allow you to use anymore. But again, I don't think he's going into 8th gear this lap, is he now? As he invalidates it again. So disaster from the Racing Point driver. Now let's see how the other drivers are coping. Sam is starting his flying lap. Jack King also starting his flying lap. Flex Marcel going into turn 1 now, as we see a bunch of yellow flags eyes for cars letting other cars past. Now let's see if you're right. Will he go on another lap? Will he have enough fuel? I think he will. Yes, he does. But now Lightning Poker is starting his flying laps. Yadet is 2/10 up on his previous lap time, which won't put him any position higher currently. Let's see, there's a Red Bull far ahead, that is Sam UK. He goes really wide at like the last corner of Beckett. Now into so he goes. We will see probably some amazing battles through here in the race. Now going into club, what lap time will he produce? Goes a little bit wide, and what will it be? 1:27.5, 1:10 down on his previous lap time. That is Jay Prentice 5th now. Let's see, there's a bunch of cars behind now. Buttons, Jack King goes fastest, 1:26.9. Flex Martel goes fastest, 1:26.8. Nothing separating the top 3 currently. Then there is McGee Lightning Poker, as Riorida retired from the session. McGee goes 9th fastest. Shai goes 5th fastest, not 5th. Where did I take that from? Now we're just waiting for F1's Buttons back, who goes really wide. I don't think he will improve on his lap time. No, he doesn't. And the grid for tonight's race will be Flex Marcel on pole position, Jack King in 2nd, F1 Buttons back in 3rd, less than a tenth separating, no, a little bit more than a tenth separating the top three, but that is extremely close, as you can see here now. Vapor Trench in 4th position, Shite in 5th position, Sam UK in 6th position, Jay Prentice in 7th, James C in 8th, McGee in 9th, Trixie in 10th, and the first non UK / Irish driver, lightning poker he is, from the USA. Is there any other Canada and Jamaica? I'm actually quite surprised by that, honestly. But a lot of the grid will be starting on the medium compound of tyres, in my opinion. RP James T will be the only person who qualified on the medium tyres in the top 10. So I'm going to be following his race quite closely. As Nico Rosberg said that his last race was his second race, I think, because his first race was around Japan. As we see some clouds in the sky, which could mean that we could have rain coming in Britain. Not a big surprise, it's England. A bunch of rain there, but he said that he picked up 2 points around Canada, so great job from him. Of course, Canada, very difficult circuit on the game and in real life. Of course, people like Sam UK, Ghost Rider, Marcel. No, what am I talking about? Oh no, so my bad. He got the 2 points in Japan. I was looking at the wrong graphic, and he's retired from Monaco. So my bad, Nico Rosberg, or Ryan. I'm just gonna call you Nico Rosberg. It's better in my opinion. No offense to the Ryans. Now, as we are on the formation up, we see Marcel leading the pack currently. Now, if you haven't subscribed to FPSL yet, please do, as it helps the channel to grow. And if you could follow us, follow FPSL on Twitter, that would be also amazing. As we see Fashion, he did a little spinaroo on the formation lap, not the best for his tyres. Of course, he is starting on the medium compound tyres, so it's not that bad, but he spins again, so maybe I was wrong, maybe it's really bad. But as we see, most of the people outside the top 10 are on the medium tyres, apart from Blitzkrieg, Nico Rosberg and Colin. The championship leader is on the medium compound tyres. I'm not sure about the strategy. I think it's going to be a soft medium or a soft hard. I think the medium runners will go onto the softs later on in the race. Of course, they will be going for an overcut on the soft drivers and the soft on the drivers on the soft tires. As we see a massive gap between 5th place and 4th place. I think that may be strategical, so that the guys up ahead lose heat in their tyres and in their brakes, so that their tyres are worse at the start of the Grand Prix. Well, let's see how they do now. Flex Marcel coming up into his starting position. Now the rest of the grid is coming up. Now the top 4 will be waiting quite a long time for the rest of the grid to park up on the correct slot. Well, let's see how they do. 26 laps of this amazing circuit, quite a historic one, just like Monaco and Japan. So quite a historic couple of 3 races we had, but 5 red lights out and away we go. Marcel with not the best start as Jack King now gets in front of him, and that's Jack King leading into turn 1. That was going wide into turn 1 as there was a pile up at the back, including Ghost Rider, Weeris and Colin. Now there's yellow flags in sector 1 still. Well, let's see at the fighting. The McLaren driver is now getting attacked by McGee. McGee will take the outside line as he's ghosting a little bit through the McLaren driver. He can make the move sick. One of them is lagging, I think, because I see the lag. But Jay Prentice and Trixie were going side by side. Trixie gets ahead of Jay Prentice as Trixie into 9th position. Now James C looking for a move on McGee as says McGee lagging all over the place. Just some alien-like behaviour, but now Marcel still at the back of the Alfa Romeo driver. Will he be close enough to go for a move into Stowe? I don't think he will. But behind them, the McLaren driver is now trying to get ahead of the Red Bull, but behind them another Red Bull has just crashed in the middle of the track, and that is a VSC. Not sure what happened there, but I think there was a little bit of contact between V-Rider and Blitzkrieg. So a spectacular crash on the first lap, and that is our first retiree as he leaves the session. But that is now Colin and Ghost Rider into the pits. When will the VSC end? It will surely be some time now. Now they're just waiting, as I think they have restarted, or they're really close to restarting, because the cars are speeding up as F1 Buttons back gets ahead of Marcel. I'm not sure what happened there. It's either a glitch or Buttons back will have to give back Marcel the position, because he's right now in 2nd position even though the graphic said that the VSC was out. But he's not giving back the position, so I'm guessing it must have been a mistake by the F1 game. But now the top 3 barely separated by anything. You could throw a blanket over them. Well, now Buttons back gets an amazing run on Jack King, as Jack King didn't have the best, didn't have a great exit, and now he's looking to go around the outside of Jack King, but he doesn't. He stays back, tries to get a little bit of a switchback. Now right behind them is Marcel. Marcel is ready to pounce if any of them make a mistake, as the RS has now been enabled on lap 3 of the Grand Prix. V-Rider now says the fastest lap time of hers, it's because the VSC, while Marcel now nearly pushing Buttons back through the corner, as it seems. He will have DRS on this straight, overtake mode. Now let's see, he will go down the inside into Luffield. Does he? Yes, he does, even though there's yellow flags in sector 1, but that's behind them currently. And that's Marcel into P2 of the race, as there is still yellow flags, this time in sector 2, that is for fashion, so I'm not sure what's been happening to him. Now Marcel gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, which won't help him at the end of the Grand Prix. But Buttons back is trying his best to catch back up to Marcel and get back that 2nd position, that silver medal. Of course there's no medals in F1, but it's just a little bit of a metaphor. But now we see an amazing battle for 7th place. James C tries to go around the outside of McGee. He can't quite make it. Will he go down the inside? No, he doesn't. He doesn't do a Sebastian Vettel. But that is Jay Prentice down the inside of Trixie, and that's Jay Prentice into 9th position. So an amazing lunge from Jay Prentice to get ahead of Trixie, and now behind Trixie is V-Rider, the championship leader. as V-Trixie gets an iffy moment through turn 2. Now we see we ride that into the points paying positions. Now Marcel, will he be close enough? He has DRS wide open, but it's just not close enough to get in front of the Alfa Romeo driver. I'm going to go down the grid now. We see James still at the back of McGee. He's probably waiting for the second DRS straight to try and make a move. Now into Copse they go. James see a little bit more brave through there, nearly full throttling it. As we see a lot of clouds in the sky, but that is McGee onto the grass on the infield of Beckett's. Not really a run-off area, but now Jay Prentice really close to James C. He will try to go around the outside, but he just can't make the move stick, and that is James C still in 7th position. But as I was commenting, that Jack King got was overtaken by Marcel, but they're still fighting for that first place. Let's see how they do. Marcel now going a little bit wide. Jack King will try to get a little bit of a switchback on him, get the better exit. He will have a DRS mode. He has only medium DRS mode. I'm not sure why. Why did I call it DRS mode? It's not even a mode. But that is an amazing switchback from Jack King. They're still going side by side though, but that Marcel has to concede the position, and that's Jack King into first position of the Grand Prix. We're only 5 laps in. Oh, we've seen some amazing racing so far. But Marcel now at the back of Jack King. He's really close to him. He's saving ERS as he is quite low on it. Jack King doing an amazing job on his ERS management. But right behind them is the battle for the last podium position. Will Sam be close enough, or will Marcel be close enough? Marcel is close enough. He will try to go around the outside. Will he make the move stick? They're still going side by side, wheel to wheel. Now Jack King will have the outside for the next corner. Marcel blocks him off, and that's Marcel into first position. Sammy King couldn't quite make the move on the F1 buttons back. But now Jack King, I don't think he will go for a move into turn 1. No, he doesn't. It's a little bit too risky. But he will have DRS on the next straight. He will have it on the hanger straight. He has a lot more ERS than Marcel. Well, let's see now. Would he be in overtake mode? No, he isn't. He is in medium mode. Marcel was in high ERS mode. So Jack King conserving a little bit. But that is the McLaren driver and Sam going wheel to wheel at the exit of Luffield. And that is 94 ahead of Sam UK. So an amazing job from 94 to get ahead of the Red Bull driver. As now 94 gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits or multiple warnings. But now Jack, he has ERS activated, but he's only in low ERS mode, so I think he'll be waiting until later in the Grand Prix to make the move. He has around 40% more ERS than Marcel, so he's doing a great job on that front. But now the Ferrari powered engines doing amazing. It's a 1, 2 and 3. Of course, a bit different than what we would see in real life F1. The Ferrari is in third, Alfa Romeo is in second, and Haas is in first. But now Jack King really close to the back of Marcel, but I think he'll just stay back. Not sure what he's doing. I think he's being really patient with his moves. But now 94 trying to get past Button's back, but 94 is on a mission. He nearly gets past Button's back, but when Button's back, we'll call him Buttons, just closes the gap, and that couldn't see 94 getting past. Now V-Rider at the back of Jay Prentice, I think he's picking up a lot of penalties because of his track extending. James also with a penalty now, but Jack, he's still saving ERS. Marcel also trying to do that, not doing as good as the Alfa Romeo driver. I'm going to go further down the grid as we might see some overtaking here. Of course, top 5 are very close to each other. It's just that they're sitting in a little bit of a DRS train, which we see in a higher tier leagues or esports. Just DRS trains forming on this game, which I hope will kind of get fixed on the next game, because it's a little bit annoying. Now 94, will he be close enough to bonds? No, he isn't. He is saving ERS a bit as Buttons goes really wide into Luffield, into the both corners there, but 94 can't quite make the move through there. Now jacking, I think he's being a little bit too patient because Marcel is starting to get a little bit of a gap on him. I think he'll start to push now, but Marcel, we saw him getting some dirt on his tires, but that's Jay Prentice out of the Grand Prix. I'm not sure what happened there. It's through Maggots and Beckett. I think it was contact, looking at how the car is positioned, but there's still yellow flags in sector 2. Now Buttons is right behind the Alfa Romeo driver, as we see now a safety car. There hasn't been any further incident apart from that. I'm really confused by that, and Brown gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Well, that is Vapor Trench, James T, Fashion, Lightning Poker, We Race, Nico Rosberg and McGee all into the pits. We've seen quite an eventful race tonight. It's been very interesting so far, and we're 1/3 into the race. Of course, lap 13 will be the halfway mark. I think we will get restarted on lap 11 or 12. I'm not too sure though, because this game can make it so that the safety car could last until lap 25, or else it could last until this lap. Honestly, who knows? Well, now most people who have went onto the hard tires are from Vapor Trench, McGee and Ghost Rider, so they must be very confident on their tire saving skills to go onto a medium compound of tires. But I'm not sure what the rest of the grid are doing. I would, if I was in their position, I would have gambled and went into the pits. Of course, they are the ones racing. I am not. I'm just commentating over them. But now that is Marcel. That is basically the whole grid into the pits, apart from V-Rider. Is V-Rider the only man not going into the pits? I think he is. Oh, there is two more. No, there is one more of Yadet. As we see the telemetry having like going all funky and weird because of the pits here around Silverstone. but that will see them bottom of the grid now. Jack King, will he be ahead of the Haas driver? Yes, he is. So, a bit annoying for Marcel. He got jumped in the pits by the Alfa Romeo driver, so he must be quite annoyed at that. Now, most of the people that came in on this lap went on the medium compound of tyres. Of course, people like RP had to go into the pits for hard tyres because of the 2 compound of tyres rule. You have to go on a second compound of tyres during the race. You can't stick on one. So you can't go soft or mediums or hards if you really want to. And now we're just waiting for everybody to bunch up and to get this race started again. We'll just be now waiting for Colin and Ghost Rider, who will be pushing flat out now, trying to get up to the safety car. I think the safety car will come in next lap. I don't think it will come in this lap because of Ghost Rider. And something I learned a couple of weeks ago was that you can actually unlap yourself now under the safety car. I don't think it was a thing when the game released, or at least when I tried to before. It didn't really work, but now it works, so that is always interesting. Of course, a new game as Brown goes into pits. That is for his drive-through penalty, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is, because he was on the hard combo. He's on new hard tires, so this must be now for a drive-through. Or is it? Because I'm gonna have to check this. He's going on the medium. I think he lost his front wing. Yes, he has. He lost a little bit of his front wing, so he had to put in. But I swear he got a drive-through. Let's see this. Yeah, Brown got a drive-through. I'm not sure if he already served it or not, or if he will take the penalty at the end of the race. Now Vireda is leading currently, but he will have to pit in for a brand new set of tyres, because these won't last to the end. They surely won't. I think he will pit in 2/3 into the race on lap 18 or 17. But Vireda will be restarting the pack, as we see now. Brown catching up to the safety car queue. So yeah, I think the safety car will come in this lap. Of course, it's being driven by Bert Mailander, who has been doing this for over 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. So he's more experienced than all of the drivers on the real life F1 grid, and probably on this grid because the F1 games have only been out for 10 years. Or the new F1 games by the by Cody's. But now, right now, amazing job from the Racing Points, first and third. But we will see Vireda restarting the pack. When will he do it? As I think he restarts it now. Yes, he does. Takes it dead off guard, which gives Trent an opportunity to catch up and maybe even get ahead of the McLaren driver. Will he go into turn one? He is close, but not close enough. But right behind him is James. He will be looking to gain as many points as possible on Vireda this race. Now let's see how he does. Vapor Trench in hot lap mode. Due to not having the RS, I don't think he will be close enough to make a move. No, he isn't, but now V-Ride has a 2-second lead over you dead. Now let's go down the grid as there was some fighting here. 94 and Nico Rosberg. 94 gets ahead of the Mercedes driver, and Trixie gets ahead of Sam UK, so not the best race from Bunsback and Sam, who started quite high up on the grid, but now Trench was looking to go side by side with Yaded through Maggins and Beckett, but he's done the wiser thing and just let him through, or didn't commit to it. But now Fashion really close to the back of James C, but not close enough, as I said. The lack of DRS is hindering the drivers. But now we see the Alfa Romeo is fighting for 8th position, McGee and Jack King, whereas the drivers who have paid in later are at a disadvantage because they have to start further down at the restart. As now the gap between first and second is 4 seconds. So great job from V-Rider, but V-Rider will have to pit in, which will see him go probably last. Well, the second last, because Brown is again into the pits. Now Jack King lost his position to Iris, and McGee gets ahead of Lightning Poker, and Poker is onto the grass now. He's on the infield of Luffield. And who was that? That was Sam UK, also having a little bit of trouble, but up ahead is Marcel and Jack King going side by side. Will they continue going side by side into Maggins and Beckett? They try to, but Marcel has conceded position, and that's an amazing overtake from Jack. Now going up further up the grid. Trench is still not close enough to get to make a move. No one quite is. Of course, back in the day there was no DRS, but the cars had less downforce, so they could actually follow each other, unlike these days. But now let's see, as Vapor Trench just cuts the entire track, James C right behind him, nudging him through the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a little bit of front wing damage. No, he doesn't. But now Trench, you will be very close to your death. And will he make the move? He is close enough. Yes, he does, down the inside of Luffield. And that is an amazing move from the Racing Point driver. Now, is there any other fight happening? Jack King right at the back of Wee Race, so he'll probably try to get ahead of the Renault driver, or the Renault driver. Wee Race is the only man waving the flag for Renault tonight, but James C is going side by side with your dad. He will try to go around the outside. He doesn't have any slipstream on him, as he did also at DRS. He will try to get a switchback on the McLaren driver. It's an amazing move from the Mercedes driver, and that sees him on the podium positions. Now Yaden is just having a lot of trouble with his car. I think it's the tyre wear is really affecting him currently, as he just carves out his own line just like Trench did. Maggie right behind him has to take onto the grass to not hit him because of all of his swerving. But that is Marcel now ahead of Jack King. Well, lots of fighting here in the midfield. And we could see a 3 wide moment. It's 2 wide nearly between 94 and Jack King. Oh, that's 94 spun onto the infield of Luffield. And Trixie has a little bit of front wing damage. He goes onto the gravel at the exit. And Marcel gets in front of Riz. And Jack King has to stay behind. And that is a VSC as Trixie returns from the session. And that could have been Jack King into 8th position. And this VSC will allow Virida, if I'm not mistaken, to pit in. Yes, he does, so he's taking advantage of the VSC to pit in. I don't think it will be enough. I want to, as he gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which will affect his result at the end. I think he will go down to 10th position. I'm not too sure though. It is a very long pit lane, the one around Britain, the longest on the calendar in F1. Well, let's see now. He exits his box. In what position will he come out? It's going to be 10th position, maybe even lower. Yes, it is. It's going to be 13th even, maybe. As now Vapor Trench gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. So not the best from the Racing Point driver, as he makes a little bit of contact with James' side pod. And James, what happened there? I think either his controller or wheel, I don't know what he's using, but I have a feeling that disconnected, because his steering wheel, it was turning, then it just went straight ahead. So there must have been an issue there. But that could be James's championship hopes out the window now. As currently Virida will probably gain points, as he will now get in front of, I'm guessing, Nico Rosberg. Will they go 3 wide? Yes, they do. And that's Virida ahead of them both. So that's an amazing move from the championship leader, and he's just showing why he deserves that championship. As now yellow flags in sector 3, that is for fashion, as he retires on the middle, in the middle of the circuit. Quite dangerous from the Toro Rosso driver. But now Trench is ahead with a 2-second lead, but he has the 5-second time penalty that will hinder him at the end of the race. Now there's still yellow flags in sector 3. I'm surprised the virtual safety car hasn't came out. But that's Ghost Rider ahead of Nico Rosberg now, and that's James C leaving the session, probably from frustration. And now let's see Marcel right at the back of McGee. He's getting some flashbacks. This time it's a different Alfa Romeo driver. He's currently in a Alfa Romeo sandwich, so this will be interesting to watch, as Marcel will try to carve through the Alfa Romeo drivers. Now he has a slipstream, high RS mode, DRS wide open, tries to go down the inside of So, doesn't he doesn't really make it, and now McGee covers him off, and McGee stays in that second position, as now we're 2/3 into the Grand Prix. We ride out with the fastest lap time. He is in 7th position currently. Now Flex Marcel. Will he be close enough to McGee to make a move? Jack King is really close to him, but because of lag, and now Marcel is very close to McGee. He's even too close, and that's him down the inside. They're still going side by side, as they're ghosting a bit. They're going wheel to wheel, and I'm surprised they're still going side by side. Marcel in overtake mode. He will go down the inside of Cops, and that's McGee taking avoidance action, but they're nearly going 3 wide into Maggis and Beckett. But Marcel with an amazing move on the Alfa Romeo driver, and that's him into second position of the Grand Prix. Now Jack King, the McGee's teammate, he is in overtake mode. I don't think there's any team orders here in Alfa Romeo. He just can't quite make it currently. Will he go for a lunge? No, he doesn't. That's Trench into the pits. Oh, that is Weiris and Sam UK making a little bit of contact, but Trench, I'm not sure what he's doing. I think it's a drive-through. Yes, it is. But that promotes V right into 6th position of the Grand Prix. Now V right at the back of Sam. Sam, I'm not sure what he's doing. Sam retires from the session. That's what he's doing. But now V right at the back of V Race, and that could be an amazing result from V right. He started from the back of the grid. Let me remind you, 20th place. I'm just going to double check. Surely it's 20th place. Yes, it is 20th place, and now he's making the move for 1st position. And now he's chasing down the leaders to grab the podium and maybe even grab the win. So we ride on now with a last question mark challenge. It could be even a last to first. But now Jack King, how close is he to McGee? He isn't close enough. Stay behind his teammate. He's getting closer than ever to him. McGee outbrakes himself, which gives Jack King an opportunity to catch back up to him. Now into turn 1, I don't think he'll be risking anything, especially on his own teammate. But we ride now right behind them, nearly pushing them through the corners. But now will he be able to get through both Alfa Romeo drivers? On the hanger straight now, Jack King is going up for a move on McGee. I don't think he's close enough. No, he isn't. And to stay back for another lap or even sector, who knows at this point. And now he'll go round the outside of Cops. He's, I think, getting a little bit tired of his teammate. He has the pace advantage, but they're still going side by side. But that's Jack King ahead of McGee. V right on now, right at the back of the Alfa Romeo driver. V right on with some amazing straight line speed tonight. McGee matching that. McGee doing some amazing defensive work, but he goes really wide into slow, and that's V right ahead of him and onto the podium positions. Well, let's see behind McGee. He was really close to the back of V Rider, but now he's just losing time. And could we see another first position from Flex Marshall? That will be his second in a row. Of course, he got he got the win last week around Monaco, but can he do it around Britain now with 2 rounds remaining after this? I think Fiorida has the championship in the bag now. Of course, after this race, it's going to be the maximum points you can get is 52. So RP James, he will be praying that Fiorida retires from the next couple of races, and then that he gets full points. And now V-Rider really close to the back of the Alfa Romeo driver. He has DRS activated, Overtake mode engaged, and that's him into second position of the Grand Prix. Jack King concedes the position as re-race ahead of McGee, and that's him into first position. Oh, they make that was either a little bit of contact or that was re-race losing his back end, but it doesn't really matter. He's wait, what? McGee, I think I didn't see that, but re-race retains his position. I think McGee hit him and maybe did the gentleman thing and gave and waited up for re-race as they have the gap, and given the position back to re-race. So very sportsmanlike from the Alfa Romeo driver. Now Jack King, he's outside of the DRS range of Virida. Of course, he has to be within 1 second to have that DRS, but it's just not close enough. But we see now Virida up 18 positions, Jack King down 1, Viris up 8, McGee up 4, 94 down 1, Ghost Rider up 7, Nico Rosberg up 9, Colin up 10. So amazing job from him. Vapor Trench down 6, Buttons back down 8, not the Grand Prix he was hoping for. Brown up 1, Yedid up 5, and Lightning Poker right now last with in 14th, down 3 positions. But now there's no real battles going on currently, apart from maybe Buttons back catching up the Trench. But now with 3 laps remaining after this lap, I don't think there will be any more overtaking unless some of the drivers make a mistake, because it doesn't look like Virida will be catching up to Marcel anytime soon. He's gaining by a little bit, and it's a really tiny amount, so I don't think he will be close enough at the end of the race, and he picks up another 3-second time penalty, so that's not helping him either. He's just pushing it a little too much, in my opinion, to try and get that first place finish. But right now he will be getting 19 points, I think, as I'm going to check the fastest lap. No, he will not. Bollensbach is currently just beating him by a couple hundredths of a second, but now we see Bollensbach really close to the back of the Racing Point driver, not Virida but Trench. And will he go for a move now into Stowe, as we're on lap 24 now, as Marcel went across the finish line. Now around the outside of Stowe, Buttons back will be close enough. He will go down the inside of Club. Vapor Trench trying to keep his position. Of course, it's the last point swing position, so it's either Buttons back is going to get 2 points, or Vapor Trench going to get 1. But now Bollensbach will again have DRS on Trench on the next lap. Not on the next lap, on the next straight, on the hanger straight. DRS activated, wide open, overtake mode engaged. And that's him ahead of Trench, unless Trench tries to put up a fight. He did try to, I think, but he just can't do it, as there was a moment there. Jack King down to 5th position, which promotes Riss into 3rd, and that could be another podium for Riss. It will be a 2nd podium consecutively. Now 94, really close to the back of Jack King. Jack King's tires must be melting right now. And now at the back, Trench is losing time to the Ferrari driver. but the Ferrari driver is gaining on the Colgate. And now down the inside he will go into the club section, and that is Button's back into 9th position, which will give him 3 points currently, which is not too shabby. I would definitely take that over 0 points. But now Vapor Trench gets ahead of Colin into turn 1, as Colin outside the points paying positions. He could still maybe sneak in if penalties are big enough. Now Marcel, he's at Maggis and Beckett's. Virida closing up to him. I don't think it's by enough though. 9 lap old softs, they must be starting to really wear out. And I wouldn't be surprised if he starts losing time on this lap. So now we see 94 right at the back of Jack King. Jack King has been going down and down since the VSC. And that is 94 ahead of Jack King. Wonderful move, as clean as you want it. And we're now on the last lap of the Grand Prix. Button's back could even get Nico Rosberg. He still has 2 DRS zones to do that. But Jack King also could get back his 5th position from the McLaren driver. He's really low on ERS. Most of the drivers currently are low on ERS. Virida, I don't think he'll be close enough to get that dream last to 1st place. And I'm going to go on board with Button's back now. Nico Rosberg locking up into turn 3, so not the best from him. Won't really help him, will it? But now Jack close behind 94, but 94 is catching up to McGee, so could we even see him up into 4th position? Now I really want to see this fight. It's going to be a last lap lunge from any of these drivers if they want that position. Jack King lost a little of time to the McLaren driver. He's doing everything he can to stay in the slipstream, but I think he'll be too far away, as Button's back now gets ahead of Nico Rosberg, as that is Virida crossing the finish line to win the Grand Prix. Marcel loses out on penalties, so it's a last to 1st place for Virida. Riss in 3rd position, McGee in 4th. Jack King goes up to 3rd due to penalties. Riss in 4th, McGee in 5th, 94 in 6th. Ghost Rider coming home in 7th. 7 and 8 for the Ferrari drivers. No, it's going to be a 9th and 10th for them, because Trench and Nico Rosberg get ahead of them due to penalties, as Button's back out of the points paying positions because of penalties. Brown is now ahead of him. Now Lightning Poker in 12th position, Yazed in 13th, and Colin in 14th. So a marvellous race we had tonight. I'm actually shocked that Virida managed to get the win. First of all, because he started at the back, but second of all, he did on penalties. So in my opinion, there's no need for a vote for driver of the day. Surely he will win it. Like, nowadays you don't see last to 1st places, especially on the F1 game, because all the cars are equal. Well, now as we see Virida celebrating on the top step of the podium to win yet another race, and he extends his championship lead to 51 points now. That's Virida who wins the Grand Prix. Flex Marcel in 2nd, Jack King in 3rd, Riss in 4th, McGee in 5th, 94 in 6th, Nico Rosberg in 7th. Also, an amazing result from him from 17th place. Ghost Rider in 9th, Brown in 10th. Boyens back in 11th, he got the fastest lap. Lightning Poker in 12th. In 13th we have Yaded, and in 14th we have Colin. The retirees are Sam UK Fashion, James C, Trixie, Jay Prentice and Blitzkrieg. Hopefully you enjoyed the race here tonight. We'll be back again next week at the exact same time, 8 PM. Hopefully we see you there. I was your commentator, Cat named Minty, and I'm signing out.